Say it with me, folks. Good morning from the yarn shop. So it's Tuesday. I think that makes this October 15th. And yeah, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be able to pick up the camera today. It's only about 11, so I've only been at work for about an hour, but it's just been nonstop since I got here. Packaging orders, assisting customers, rinsing yarn, soaking yarn, all the same things, all of the usual that you've become familiar with at this point. So again, today's Tuesday. I am working on dyeing up 40 skeins today. I'll give myself a little bit of grace if I only make it to 30 or 35, because I did the math, and if I'm dyeing yarn today through Friday, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's 4 dye days, and I really only need 3 if I do 40 per day, 40 skeins. So I can either push myself really hard to get the 40 done and then use that last day to try to dye up any leftover skeins from my plan, sort of, because I do have more yarn that I could dye. But again, I have my goal and then I have my stretch goal. So I'm trying to, well, I guess I don't really need to figure it out. I'm just gonna take my time, play it by ear. If I get 40 skeins done today, I do, and if not, then I have got a little bit of buffer, which is great. The yarn also needs several days to dry in the summertime. Okay, so as you have seen, I do have a spin dryer, and that gets out all of the excess water essentially, and it doesn't 100% dye yarn. It just doesn't. So I do also have to hang it up to dry. During the summertime, when the shop is a lot hotter, it just dries a lot faster. But right now, even though we are still pretty warm, this week is in the high 80s, it just takes slightly longer to dry. So I need to make sure there's plenty of time for the yarn to dry. The last thing I want is wet yarn that I can't actually pack up for Saf. But yeah, so it'll be fine. Everything's working great. I'm really proud of myself for setting a schedule, setting a plan, and making it happen. I really struggle with that sometimes, but I do work well under pressure, I would say. So having a deadline really helps, and yeah, so again, I'm feeling proud of myself. I don't always get a chance to feel that way, so that's really nice. I did run out of some of the dye powders that I needed to make some of the colorways that I had planned, and I ordered them last week, and they should be here this week, but I have a feeling they won't get here until Friday. Hopefully I'll be surprised and they come sooner, because like my speckled eggs colorway, for example, I don't have the dye that I use to make the base color, so I really need that dye because I was planning on making more of that on fingering and on DK, but I did dye it on sport and worsted, so I have a little bit of it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's video. I think it was my favorite to make so far this year. I plan on maybe making more like that. Thank you, honey. It goes right there. Thank you, big helper. I'm on skeins 15 and 20, so I'm working on being halfway through with my dye day so far, which is great. I'm skeining up lots of yarn. I have some big piles here of all of the stuff I was dyeing over the weekend and last week, so I need to inventory these. You know, I have to say, the one complaint that I have about this camera, because as you guys will know, I got this really nice camera, or I guess middle of the road camera. There are nicer cameras out there. This one is, I got this one used actually, which was nice, but Anyway, my only complaint about this camera is my phone. I feel like I was able to really fine-tune it with the pro settings to get all of the settings just right for the yarn. But this camera, it's like I have a harder time balancing it to get the colors right. What do you have? Ooh, a spider.
It's not a spider, it's sweet.
It's a sweet spider. Okay.
Yes.
But anyway, so it's hard to show the yarn. Did you make me a drawing? Let's see it. That's so good.
I made her eyes, and her eyebrows,
Yes.
and her legs, and her hair, and her head.
That's awesome.
And I made her smile. See mine?
I'm so happy that you drew her smiling. Or I got to play with a little friend who stopped by with one of my regulars, and they were playing flowers and they were drawing pictures, which was great.
Oh, her name is Willie.
Yes, it is. I only have 10 skeins left for today, and then I'm done. And I have also skeined a bunch of yarn today, and I still have a bunch left. But this is all sport weight and some more of the worsted, and I've begun printing out the labels. I need to print out some more and start writing and cutting and taping and all of that. And then one of the most important things is I need to photograph colorways that don't have listings on my website, and then I also need to update my inventory so everything is accurate and posted. You got me. But I'm about to sit down for 10 minutes while the pans are finishing up before I swap over the new ones. And I'm going to weave in the ends on my Odyssey shawl that I finished a couple days ago.
Yay!
I know. Or kissed it. So yeah, I'm going to do that real quick. here's everything I managed to twist up today. Quite a few skeins of yarn, plus there's some more in the back. And I've also hung some up where they live out on the floor. There's a bunch of yarn drying in the back. There's a ton in the pans that I dyed today that I'll rinse tomorrow. And I did also go ahead and get soaking the next 40 skeins. So I only have 3 dye days left, and thank goodness, because I am feeling physically very worn out. Dyeing yarn takes a huge toll on your shoulders and your neck. It might not seem that way, but it really does, and I can hear myself progressively getting more burnt out, and my shoulders are hurting so bad that I'm having a hard time falling asleep at night. So yeah, I am so ready to have a little breather from dyeing all the yarn, or at least at this rate. So yeah, it's almost over though. And then of course after SAF, we have the Alabama Fiber Festival, and I am going to, there's a few weeks in between, I'm going to order yarn and dye up whatever I might need, but I assume I will have a good bit of inventory left from SAF to fill my booth, and if not, I'll just order as much as I need and try to get as much done as I can. Last year, the Alabama Fiber Festival was our best performing event of the entire year, so I anticipate really fantastic sales, at least I hope for them. So I do want to come stocked with as much inventory as possible, so that's definitely the plan. But after that, I am going to hibernate in December and probably not dye any yarn except for if I get some custom requests here and there, but that's a different story than preparing for this many events. And then the next big event won't be until April, when I go to Nash Yarn Fest, because I will be a vendor again at Nash Yarn Fest. Oh, fun little side note, I'm super excited about this. Have you guys heard of StitchCon? If you're a cross stitcher, you probably have. If you don't cross stitch, you might not be familiar, but it's basically a cross stitch convention, like a big stitch along with a couple hundred people in a hotel conference room, and there's vendors, and yeah, people just basically sit at tables and cross stitch together for hours on end. Well, I am going with my best friend. We got tickets and I'm so excited. So we're going to weekend A, which sadly does mean I will have to miss out on Knit in Public Day, and every year I vend at a library in the area, so I will be sad to miss that, but I didn't want to pass up this opportunity, just this once, you know. And anyway, I get to go with my best friend and we get to cross stitch and hang out together for a weekend, and I think it's in Cincinnati, Ohio. I should know, I booked a trip there basically, I guess. But yeah, that's a fun little note. Anyway, I need to wake up my daughter and hit the road because we're closed now and I have to get her to dance. Our new green cabinet for the kitchen got here. I definitely don't have time to put this together before dance class, but I figured why not open it up and see if I can make some progress. one night in the forest, near dawn, a large ball of wool appeared, floating in the air. Light as a balloon, the ball of wool floated through the hedgehog's window. It was so quiet that when it got stuck on his prickles, the little creature didn't even stir. At sunrise, the spider on the doorknob, who woke up very early so that she could get her web ready, saw the mysterious ball of wool stuck on the hedgehog's back. Her friend was still snoring away merrily. "Wake up, hedgehog!" shouted the spider in a frightened voice. "What's up?" asked the hedgehog, curling himself into a ball. "You've got a great big ball of wool stuck on your prickles. Can't you feel it?" The hedgehog, who was quite used to shaking things out of his prickles, turned around in his bed, and the ball of wool fell off. He looked at it with surprise and said, "What could I do with this ball of wool?" "Well, wool is for knitting scarves, mittens, or sweaters."